Well, the thing that I've noticed, what I think is the biggest impediment.
Can you hear? Bit more volume on.
What I feel certain is the biggest impediment to me living in vibrational harmony with my dreams is fear.
Well, fear is the indicator of the impediment, but fear is not the impediment. You're right. Fear is pointing at the impediment. When you feel fear, that feeling is letting you know, right here, right now, you're doing some of that tripping up.
I notice it happening on the pettiest of things. If my wife says something that I don't like, there's a surge of it. Oh my gosh, if I don't stop this, it'll keep happening, to the largest areas of my life. So if I notice it, how do I get past it?
But here's the thing. The other day, someone was asking about doubt. How do I get rid of doubt? And in this case, how do I get rid of fear? And we say, in both cases, no matter what the word is that describes the negative emotion, you deal with it before it happens. Now, we know how annoying that must be, because now that it's happened, what do? And we say, take a nap, or just write it out. Esther said, I refuse to believe that I have to wait clear until tomorrow before I get a handle on this. And you really don't have to. But once the momentum has happened in a strong enough way that you have taken the emotional hit from it, now, no, don't add more words to that, because you're just going to get into a more defensive mode. So it really is about acknowledging, hey, I'm living conditional love. My wife said something. Is she here?
Mm-hmm.
My wife said something that I am having a negative response to, and wouldn't it be nice if she wouldn't do that? And maybe it would be nice if she didn't do that. But what we want from you, what we so want from you, is the ability to ride steady no matter what condition your wife or anyone else is presenting to you.
I want that for myself also.
So you got to practice it when your wife isn't there. Are you ever away from her?
Yes.
You really just have to start with easier things. You just have to start with easier things until you've just developed this pattern of alignment. And before you know it, you'll ride steady regardless of the way someone else is behaving in your experience. Esther said out loud to herself the other day, and then wrote with us in dialogue about it, because she realized, she said, that just really pushes my button. Really pushes my button. And then she thought, oh yeah, and I'm the one with a great big button out there. There's this great big button just begging to be pushed. And sure enough, there's going to be somebody that's going to come along that's going to push it. You say, ha! You pushed my button. Like you'd like the whole world to be strong enough. They should be doing the work so that they don't see your button, right? If you were living unconditional love, you wouldn't notice this big button I've got out here for you to push on. But clearly, you're not doing the work, so you're pushing my button. And what you want to do instead is just do your best to step away from it as much as you can. And then don't try to deal with that, because dealing with that is just going to cause you to increase your momentum about that. Really, can you feel the difference between finding alignment? Are there subjects that it is easy for you to find alignment about?
Yes, definitely.
Like what?
Well,
have you been outside?
Yeah.
Did you look around? Isn't it easy to find alignment when you have that to see what's out there, right out there, somewhere out there today? Isn't it easy to find alignment?
Yeah, in nature, for sure. And in the dreams that I have in my head when I think about those. You know, I feel joy, but then I find that there's resistance to changing my life, changing my career, for example, with the realities, or so-called realities of the financial world.
Well, we know, but now you're not even trying. Now you're not even trying, because, in other words, because what's active within you is a vibration about how difficult it is. And so even with all of this clarity and all of this infinite intelligence and all of this energy stream, we can't influence you into a different vibration, the one that you've got actively going. You have to do something about starting at an earlier place in your day and practicing it for a few days until you own the vibration of well-being. We know most of you are so accustomed to observing conditions and responding to conditions that these words don't even sound manageable to you at first. You sort of have to wake up in the morning and do your best not to join any previous thought like these that come so easily that you were just offering, and just deliberately try to find things. Esther will make a general statement that goes something like, there is so much in my life to appreciate. Now that's general enough that she doesn't contradict it immediately. There's so much, or if she even needs to be even more general, there is so much that could be appreciated in my life. If she says, I appreciate so much in my life, and she's off on some rampage where she's not feeling appreciation, then just saying that just aggravates her. Oh yeah, there's plenty to appreciate. It's all over the place. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's something else to appreciate. If you don't feel it, because the universe doesn't care what you say, the universe is responding to what you mean. And what you mean is about how you feel. So you got to get general enough that you find the feeling of it. So Esther could step back even further and say, there is so much to be appreciated in this world. Now, that might trigger something negative too, because there's plenty not to appreciate in the world too. And if she's been watching the news the night before or something like that, then that might not be the softest, safest landing for her. There's so much to appreciate in my life. There's so much to appreciate in my life. So as she says that, and don't you say that too? There's so much, can't you say that? There's so much to appreciate in my life. Now just sit with that for just a minute. And then reach for it. And now here it is. Here it is. This is what you're looking for. This is what you want to understand. Do you believe that law of attraction abounds?
Yes.
Do you understand that law of attraction and momentum are identical words? Do you believe that when you focus on whatever you choose to focus on here and now, where all of your power is, that law of attraction will begin responding to that vibration immediately? So when you say there is so much about my life to appreciate, and you sit there in non-resistance, just resting with that thought, what's law of attraction going to do with that thought? Amplify it. Bring other thoughts like it to it. And something else is going to occur to you. So when we say, and then you think, we didn't say, and then you go get another thought. What we're saying is, and then you receive the thought, which is the momentum from that thought that you received. Did you hear that? This is the most important conversation that we have ever had on the subject of law of attraction. This is the most important conversation that we've ever had about momentum or trajectory. This is the most important conversation that we've ever had about your point of attraction. Because there is no exclusion, there's only attraction. So when you find anything that you can find, that you can rest with and feel ease with, and you can just sit there in the ease of that thought, another thought that is like it, but a little more than it, will flow into your experience. So then the next thing that flows into Esther's mind is, look at this beautiful world. She's looking out across her deck. She's looking out at the plants that have been planted. She's thinking about the deliciousness. And then a hummingbird just rolls right into her experience for her to observe and devour. Momentum is increasing now. And now more thoughts are coming, like, ooh, the lovely people who were here yesterday that hosed everything off and made everything look so good. Ooh, and the rain that came last week that washed off the roofs and washed off the tall trees and gave everyone something to drink. Ooh, The appreciate. Are you feeling it in your body yet? In other words, about then Esther is. About then Esther's feeling energy in her body. About then, now, it just took about that much. It was barely 68 seconds. And now she's tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the frequency of well-being. She's in vibrational sync. And now these are the thoughts that are beginning to flow into her mind. Thoughts of appreciation. Thoughts that match this vibration that she's got going on. And as you do that, every chance you get, certainly first thing in the morning, what begins to happen is that you accomplish a frequency that is familiar enough to you that even when you're not there, you remember that you have been there and you believe that you can return there. And so the next day it's easier, and the next day it's easier still, and the next day it's easier still, and the next day it's easier still. So when we say you are the creator of your own experience, we want to say you are the attractor of your experience. You are the creator of the vibrational atmosphere. You are the preparer of the vibrational climate around you. And you are the perceiver. If you're tuned, if your climate is such, you are the perceiver of things that match the climate that you have set into motion. Can you imagine what you can do with this? Can you imagine that if you could go from appreciation to actually feeling true abundance, just utter abundance, just unequivocal abundance? Can you imagine the ideas that would begin to flow into your mind and the rendezvous that would take place, not just with hummingbirds, but with all kinds of other co-creative partners? You see what we're getting at? You have practiced looking at conditions, all kinds of conditions that have got you all over the place vibrationally. And now we're saying, push the reset button. Just find something that for sure feels good to you and rest with it until it grows into something more. And do it every day until finally you're walking around and people are looking at you. You just see them looking at you everywhere you go. And it isn't because they saw you on YouTube. It isn't because they saw you on television. It isn't because they think they know you. It's because you've got something going on. You've got something going on vibrationally, and they can sense it, you see. And then you become impervious. Your buttons become unpunchable, unpushable, because what you've got going on is so stable. You're not looking for that approval to feel good. You already feel good. You're not looking for that approval. You've already got this vibrational alignment approval. You've got this source energy tuned in, tapped in, turned on, knowledge of who you are. And now others can take you or leave you, but they're not pushing your buttons anymore. Take some practice. And there's nothing like a good button pushing to let you know how you're doing. We love it when somebody pushes your button, because you say, I thought I had that one covered. All right, I'll work on that. Helpful?
Oh, so much so. I feel empowered. I feel like I can have any vibration I really want. What I do with it is up to me. And the feeling that I'm having right now is I'm wondering, why would I even waste my time worrying about fear when I could be having an entirely different vibration? Thank you.
Perfectly said.